Indulge in wonderful scents for weeks with Febreze.
Elevate every moment naturally with Chaland Wines, the exquisite non-alcohol sparkling wines from France. Chaland non-alcohol wines deliver elegance in every sip. Perfect for toasting at any gathering. Everyone can join in, from grown-ups to the little ones. With a range of flavors, Chaland Wines add a touch of style to every occasion. Find them at all leading supermarkets and wholesales island-wide. Pop the cork on a natural kind of celebration. Chaland Wines, distributed by Harbour Wines and Spirits, a division of Grace Kennedy Limited.
Welcome back. You're tuned into the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. Let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. And we have here in Loop Jamaica News, Integrity Commission submits 3 investigation reports, rulings to Parliament. We have here in the Jamaica Gleaner, KSAMC targets cleanup as country inches into hurricane season. We have in the Jamaica Observer, Reggae Boys cruise past Guatemala in World Cup qualifier. Those and many other stories in our various news sources. Coming up next, we'll read for some of the feedback from our Facebook or YouTube and WhatsApp question, which is, what are your thoughts on the controversy over public access to our beaches? If you haven't done so yet, leave your responses on our Facebook or YouTube Love 101 FM Jamaica Live, and also WhatsApp comments and voice notes too. 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll be right back.
On the next Campus Connection, we will focus on fathers in education. Fathers play a significant role in education, and their involvement can have a positive impact on children's academic and personal development. Join us with guests Dr. Mark Smith, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, and Mr. Ricardo Allen, CEO and founder of One-on-One Educational Services Limited, as they give their input on the topic, along with information about the new AI lesson plan generator. You don't want to miss our special interview with Mr. Oren Herdit, President of the UWI Mono Math Club, as he shares about the Skills Optimization Challenge SOC. That's Campus Connection, Tuesday, June 10 at 5:30 p.m. only on the family station Love 101.
On the next episode of The Mailbox, we'll be doing our pre-Father's Day show. Father's Day is a special day to honor and celebrate fathers, father figures, and paternal bonds. It's a time to express gratitude to fathers in your life, celebrate their role, and spend quality time doing what they like. You are invited to join the conversation with our guests, Elder Dennis Morrison and Elder Alfred MacDonald from Marvelly Gospel Hall in St. Andrew. That's Wednesday, June 11 at 5:30 p.m. only on the family station, Love 101, The Mailbox, Monday.
This Father's Day, let your word speak love. Love 101 FM invites you to be part of Pages for My Father, a celebration of the quiet strength, faith, and presence of our dads. Simply send us a letter 100 words or less about your father in a WhatsApp message or a 1-minute voice note. We may read or play it on air as we honor fathers across Jamaica. Submit now to our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 as we celebrate fathers with love. Be sure to put Pages for My Father as the heading so we can easily identify.
Then listen for the feature during Love in the Morning, Morning Express, and Alive. Then on Father's Day, Sunday, June 15, throughout the day, and see if yours made the cut. Pages for my father. Let's celebrate the great men in our lives. We're doing it on the family station. Love 101.
Don't give up on your hopes and your dreams is what he tells us. To be grateful and kind is what he's shown us. I rise to give you glory.
Feel the soul stirring power of music that speaks to the heart. Introducing gospel recording artist Evangelist Shernet Wilson, a voice of inspiration carrying the gospel with passion, purpose, and praise. With every note, Evangelist Shernet Wilson brings a timeless message of hope, faith, and redemption, wrapped in melodies that will lift your spirit and inspire your soul. Don't miss her album Still I Rise, available on all digital platforms. It's more than music, it's a movement of faith. Let the gospel music touch your heart. Evangelist Shernet Wilson, spreading the gospel, one song at a time.
Listen this Thursday, June 12th at 10:15 a.m. for Intro with Evangelist Shernet Wilson. She'll talk about her music. We'll get to hear her songs. Don't you miss it.
I rise to give you glory.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. Well, let us join Jakal in case. Do we have any responses to our feedback question? What are your thoughts on the controversy over public access to our beaches? Well, apparently none as yet. We move right into the second watch. Now, since taking office on the 20th day of January, in this year of our Lord 2025, United States President Donald J. Trump has declared and implemented several policies. What have been the effect, or what has been the effect of some of these policies? We have as our guest this morning to look at this very interesting topic, Danae Peart. Danae Peart, Executive Director for Emory Nielsdale and Led Clinic, change maker, writer, cultural curator, media and business consultant, and host on Vibe 105 FM. We also have Sean Bird, founder, Concerned Christian Coalition for a Health Society, an attorney and managing director, Grenville Radio Limited, and speaker, Sean Bird, Danae Peart. Good morning.
Good morning, Stokely.
Good morning, Stokely. Good morning.
Good morning to you both. Well, first of all, is U.S. President Donald Trump a good negotiator? I'm sure why every time we talk about President Donald Trump, issues such as this arise. Is he a good negotiator? Is he a good deal maker? I don't know. Sean Bird, what's happening here?
I'm not sure that he's doing anything outside of what we know him to be. What we should have had any different expectations than what is actually taking place. I don't think we know he's not the traditional politician, and we know that he is thinking outside the box. I think I'm a little alarmed at the way people are surprised at some of the things that he's doing. I think all he's doing is implementing what he said he would do. With regards to negotiation, I think those who have been in business school studies, or those who are CEOs, of large companies, etc., would say that President Donald Trump, is applying business principles to this. So he's not coming from a traditional political, what we would consider traditional political negotiating skills. He's more using business principles to move things along. Everything that he does has to benefit the United States economically and financially. That's how he's thinking. I'm not seeing anything different. So, somebody to be surprised, yeah, I'm not surprised.
There's a lot of talk about the ending the war in Ukraine between Ukraine and Russia, ending the tensions, the war between Israel and Gaza, if I could refer to Gaza in that manner, and the whole matter of deportations, ICE raids, the current situation in California with the riots, if I could call them riots. Some people say that they're peaceful protests. And there is a whole artificial intelligence side of things that, many of us probably are not hearing that much about, but it's taking place. Dene, your thoughts? There are just so many things happening in the US right now under the current president. Your thoughts?
So I think the first thing for me is that he's not a negotiator. He is a marketer, and he is good at escalating issues to create a situation that he can solve, and thus, look favorable to his party and his supporters. So, I hear the conversation from Sean on a business principle applied to what he's doing, but he's running a country, and I will never, yield to the idea that a business person applying business principles would be good.
I'm sorry, Dene. Sometimes I don't know, there's a sound on the line. It sounds almost like a kind of scratching kind of sound.
Yeah, is it still there?
Actually, I'm not hearing it now. Continue.
Okay,
Continue.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so I would say that he is good at escalating a situation, and we're seeing that with the supposed riots, the protests in Los Angeles. He escalated. He sent in National Guards that were not asked for. He sent in army that was not asked for. We're seeing that he's not a good negotiator with tariffs. With tariffs, he flip-flopped actually on a number of instances, especially with China. He went tit for tat with China, went hard with China, and then had to, pull back, as it is seen that it is not prudent to really fight with China, because the U.S. only represents 10% of China's trade market. They can go elsewhere. And so I don't know that it would be fair to describe him as a good negotiator.
Okay. So in terms of persons who are not originally from the US who are living in the US, such as Jamaicans and other Caribbean persons, etc. Sean Bird, well, we're up on a break already, so we'll take that on the other side of the break. But I just want your views in terms of how persons from the Caribbean might be reacting to him. But listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back with the Morning Watch.
The time by Grace Could Move is
7:45.
The loan frenzy is on with Infinity Co-op Credit Unions. Fund your possibilities loan promotion with zero to low processing fees, up to 240 months to repay, and competitive interest rates. You can borrow using a secured or unsecured loan to fund your dreams. Dream it, fund it, live it with Infinity, where possibilities are endless. Visit infinitycuja.com or call 876-926-6973 for more details. Conditions apply.
Attention, Jamaica. Fenty Beauty has arrived. Now available exclusively at Fontana Waterloo and Fontana Montego Bay. Join us in store to find your perfect foundation and skincare routine with Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin today.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, I further my education and I make mama proud.
See so you can make the par, travel far, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokely Marshall. We are in the second watch, and the topic is: Does President Trump flip, flop, or negotiate? Questioning his modus operandi. Our guests are Danae Peart and Sean Bird. I'll emphasize that Mr. Bird is from Antigua. Now, in terms of President Donald Trump, Sean Bird, you were about to continue to make a point, but then we had to head to the break. Please continue.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if it's my internet on this side.
We're hearing you. We're hearing
Yeah,
you.
but okay, all right. Well, first of all, United States consumes 60% of the global goods. So based on that, when that was brought to my attention, I realized, oh, that's the weight that he's using in order with any trade within the global environment. Every single country that Donald Trump has raised the tariffs to has come and in some way negotiated with him. So he has used the strength of the United States, 60% of the trade that global trade that they're consuming, to his advantage. That tells me somehow he did that. And if you look back in history, he has been talking about tariffs, etc., throughout the years. With regards to immigration, when I'm conservative and I'm right of center, when the Germany allowed the Syrians to come in, you saw a shift in the dynamics of what was happening in Syria and in Europe. I began to speak about this, and people looking from a humanitarian point of view. It's like I'm in the United States, and I'm gonna, a Caribbean person goes up for position. Automatically, I'm gonna gravitate towards the Caribbean person to give them the nod. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of how they go about the policies, but I believe immigration is important. I'm going to talk about Antigua and Barbuda. We here in Antigua and Barbuda probably have 40% of our population is not from Antigua and Barbuda. So we rely a lot on a lot of people coming into Antigua and Barbuda. However, immigration is important with regards to your local culture and the way that you look about it. I am of the opinion that despite the way that Trump has gone about it, he's not surprising me. I coin a phrase, your life is your resume. I'm yet to see anything that he has done that he is surprising me about. The fact is that he's changing the global dynamics. Christine Lagarde, the head of the IMF, has mentioned the point, also the European Union, that since Donald Trump has come in here, there has been a shift in the global agenda and in the way that things have been going about. Whether you like him or not, this is not about whether we like him or not, because people are very strong whether it's left or right. I'm in no way liberal. I'm not liberal one single bit. I believe in nationalism, I believe in free trade, and I believe in the protection of your borders. However, how you go about it is always something that we need to address. And I think that how he's going about it, while it may not be acceptable for a lot of people, you can't tell me that you have that amount of people in Los Angeles and you're going to be carrying on in that manner, regardless of whether you accept it or not. There's an immigration lawyer who spoke about the numbers and what was illegally in terms of what came into the United States. But what he did say is that despite the infractions, and I think he may have had some Caribbean heritage, that they're murdering them in the courts in terms of getting people off. Now, you might not want to go through that problem. Trump is a divisive figure. He's always going to evoke strong emotions, even when he was on that TV program, whatever you might call it. I can't remember whatever you call it. I think that the way that he's going about stuff, I don't necessarily think he's the best person when it comes to the Iran problem, the Middle East problem, the Ukraine problem. I'm not sure with regards to negotiating. I think he's a businessman, and the way he's going about it is using the strength of the consumer market in the United States to push the agenda forward. And to me, until I'm proven wrong, looks like he's getting through with a majority of the things. Because one of the things that you do is that you shoot for the for the moon and you might get the stars. And that is has been thing. So he asks you for 100%, but really what he's looking for realistically is 30 or 40. And it seems to be getting a lot of that through.
Before I bring back in the Napier, I want to ask you this question, Sean Bird. Your
Mm.
thoughts on the whether current or former closeness to Elon Musk. And we know that when it comes to Elon Musk, a businessman as well, but a lot of the businesses that he's involved in involve a lot of technology, high technology,
Mhm.
artificial intelligence, the thought of having chips in the brain, that sort of thing. Do you find it a little bit disconcerting or it's nothing
Of
to see?
course, of course. Listen, if you've been around these individuals, which I have been, these
Yeah.
guys are full of ego, they're full of self, and they think that everybody can be bought. And they look to demonstrate that. When he first came on the scene, I said, Elon Musk, you got to be kidding me. My first interaction was that an older couple who showed me in there during the Obama administration, showed me the chip that they had in their wrist for when they went to for Obamacare, etc. And then is when I realized that this technology is real. So the idea, and this has been building. Let me say something also, Stokely. My thinking is based on, is always premised with biblical alignment. That's my thinking. I don't believe in anything that represents a secularist approach to a lot of these things. Let me make that absolutely clear. So I am at odds with a lot of different people. I divorce myself from emotion and recognize that the times that we are in have already been foretold that these things are going to be happening with regards to the different, whether it be Matthew 24, whether it be Luke 21 or Mark 13. It's happening. Everything is happening right now. Even in the Middle East, when you're looking at Israel, this war, it's a Psalm 83. So there is nothing that is happening now that is taking me by surprise. The problem is that we have not been teaching it or bringing it forward to the people so the people don't know. But with regards to what is happening, pride, confrontation, trying to prove your point, riches, the
I, I,
whole lot,
I want to
that's the
bring
way
back
it is.
I want to bring back in the Napier because as time is going, I never enough time in the morning. What another
Mm.
thing I find concerning is the whole matter of what they call real ID, which is being implemented or being discussed or spoken about on right now under Christy Nome, who is also part of the administration. But of course, not enough time to go through everything here on the morning watch. Danae Peart, the whole matter of Jamaicans in the US, other Caribbean people in the US as well, in terms of how they're responding or reacting to President Trump. Your thoughts, because you have indicated that he is running a country, he's not running a business. Danae Peart.
Yeah, I think there are a few issues that impact Jamaicans and Caribbean people, anybody who lives abroad that will play out during this administration. I'm sure they're significantly distracted by what is happening as it relates to immigration because those who are non-status are definitely at risk and definitely should be concerned. Some people are self-deporting, and that might be wise for them to do because, as we can see, there is escalation. His great advisor, Stephen Miller, has asked that ICE escalate and try to do, I don't know what happened there, and try to do 3,000 deportations a day. So those who are non-status should be concerned. The other thing I think people should be concerned about is the cost of food, the cost of living. One of the things that Trump ran on was that on day one, he would reduce prices. Well, tariffs are a tax and they are not reducing prices. As a matter of fact, Walmart CEO says, I can't avoid increasing prices. And we're seeing that simple things like bananas that should have a 10% tariff are already having an 8% increase in prices. So there are different things that are impacting, Caribbean folk. Anybody who is foreign born living in America will be experiencing this, not to mention the stress of it all, because I find that Trump is very much an erratic leader, very much chaotic in his approach. So there's very little stability. If somebody plays in the stock market, for example, if you're not a big player in the stock market, this is a very unstable time to be in the stock market, because only those who can play against a gain or loss and still win, only those people are benefiting. Those who are watching, what does Donald Trump say that impacts the market, that is impacting people's 401k, that is impacting people's, little game in stocks. They're not big players. So there are so many pieces that could impact individuals as we watch this person who, rightly is not a traditional leader, that's for sure, but is also not as, witty as we think. He's very much a good marketer, though, and he will tell a good story. Even in the breakup with him and Elon, he's telling a great story.
Well, okay, so you're saying that you're saying essentially that there are things that he's doing which is causing instability.
Yes.
All right. So, in terms of the way both of you, how would both of you look at things going forward for the U.S.? Because many people may not realize it, but he has not been the president for 1 year yet since he came back as president. So, where do both of you see things going for the next, I don't know, for the rest of his term? Starting with you, Sean Bird, and then you, Danae Peart, in a couple of seconds. Sean Bird.
Hard to say. I think, Donald is, who knows the way that Donald is going to go. But I look at his track record, and I think that he's one of those individuals that he plays to his base. And what has happened, he's going to satisfy his base with regards to what he's doing. You look back at his history. In fact, some of the articles he's even brought out in the newspapers in the past and so on. He's true to his word. He's doing what it is. So it's not a matter that we don't know what we're getting. We knew what we were getting.
Well, I think I was a little bit surprised at the whole artificial intelligence angle, but realizing
nothing, because I saw that guy there, Elon Musk, do something with artificial intelligence. Kit it down. Do some stupidness with it, whatever the case may
I know
be.
that I'm cutting in, but I want to bring in Danae Peart for a final thought. Never enough time in the morning. Watch Danae Peart.
Yeah, I agree that whatever he's doing is fairly predictable in terms of the personality that is Trump. He is a cult of personality on his own. I think that what will happen is a lot of people don't know that there are legal cases against multiple decisions that he has announced, multiple executive orders that are outside of his wheelhouse that he's been doing. And so what will happen, I expect and predict, will be that there will be a slowing down of some of this erratic behavior. This happened in his first term as well. His first go at presidency, he went hard and erratic in the first year, and then people lost their jobs, in his administration and so on. So
I'm getting a signal, Danae Peart. I want to hear the rest of it. We're getting a signal. We're completely out of time. I want to thank both of you, Danae Peart and Sean Bird, for being with us in the second watch. A very interesting conversation. And thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we look at other topical and controversial issues. And of course, visit our YouTube channel and Facebook page, and now TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica, and listen to us by downloading our Love 101 app and stay connected to us, the number one gospel station in Jamaica, Love 101 FM. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer Kathy Gale and to our guests. Join me tomorrow as I look at other issues of the day. I am Stokely Marshall, handing back Love in the Morning with Jokal.
Time is now 8 a.m. on the family station. I do hope that you enjoyed the conversations inside the Morning Watch. Coming up next is Forward in Faith, brought to you by the New Testament Church of God.